Okay, so between what two values of x is this oscillating? Now it says that it is in simple harmonic motion. So from there, from just this statement here, we can see that this model's minus n squared x minus c. So the centre is x equals 3 and n squared equals 4, so n is equal to 2. So looking at that now, we can then use this formula. V squared equals n squared a squared x squared minus c squared. So that's going to be 2 squared a squared minus x minus, and the centre is 3 squared. So they give you this information. The object is a speed of 8 when it passes through the origin. So v equals 8 when x equals 0. So 8 squared equals 2 squared, a squared minus 3 squared. So that's 16 over 4 equals a squared minus 9. So 4 equals a squared minus 9. A squared equals, take that back, 8 squared 64. I think I calculated the whole thing in my head. So 64 over 4, which is 16. So that means 16, a squared minus 9 equals 16. So 16 plus 9 is 25. So a is the square root of 25. You take the positive because the amplitude is positive. So a is 5 and the centre is 3. So 3 plus 5 will give you 8. And 3 minus 5 will give you minus 2. So that means it oscillates between 8 and between minus 2 and 8. So like if you were looking at that, there's minus 2 and 8, and the centre is at 3, and it will be going between minus 2 and 8. So in saying that, if you that actually answers the first part of the question, but initially the object is 5.5 metres to the right of the origin. So 5.5 metres to the right of the origin and moving towards the origin. So even looking on to part 2, so moving towards the origin, so it's actually moving this way. So that's kind of what your graph is going to look like. So let's look at the second part. So the second part says find the first value of t. We're going to find the first value of t for which x equals 0, given the answer correct to 2 decimal places. So it starts at 3. So we actually have to get a model for this. So we're going to go x equals. So we're going to have a, and now looking at that graph there, if it's going to start, if this is the centre at 3, and it's going to start at 5.5, and then it's going to be travelling towards the origin, going down to minus 2, back up to 8, down to minus 2, back up to 8, so there's minus 2, and it's going to be going to 8. So I'm just going to use the sine graph to model this. We have the amplitude. So the amplitude for this model is 5. We have n equals 2, and we also have c. C equals, it's going to shift up to 3, so it's oscillating about 3. So it's sine 2t plus alpha plus 3. Now you could have also used the cos graph. I'm going to use the sine graph, and if we move this back here, you can see that's what this shift was, but the cos graph would also have worked as well. And it just gets fixed by this alpha here. So we need to find, the thing that's unknown there is that alpha. So if you put in time equals 0, then you put x is 5.5. So 5.5 equals 5 sine 2 times 0 plus alpha. So if you take away plus 3, if you take away the 3, that would be 2.5 equals 5 sine alpha. So that means that sine alpha will be a half. So sine alpha is a half at 30 degrees, or pi on 6. So now we have this here is pi on 6. So we now have our graph, our equation, which is x equals, so we have 5 sine 2t plus, and we're going to have pi on 6 because it's 30 plus shifted up, and shifted up to 3 because that's where it oscillates between. Okay, so looking at this here now, what's the actual question say? So the question says find the value of t for which x equals 0. So you're going to have to put 0 in there, and now you're going to have to solve it. So sine 2t plus pi on 6 plus 3 minus 3 equals 5 sine 2t plus pi on 6. Sine 2t plus pi on 6 equals minus 3/5. Now it is good to, because I want the first time, if you just have a look back at your graph. So if you start here, and we want the first time when it cuts the origin, so okay, so let's just have a look at, we've got 2t plus pi on 6 equals minus 3 on 5. So looking at that now, where is sine negative? So sine would be negative in these two quadrants, so the first time is going to be this one. So 2t plus pi on 6 will equal pi plus theta. So theta will be tan the minus 1, or sorry, sine the minus 1, because it's sine the minus 1 of 3/5. And we want to make sure we're in radians. So you either change your calculator to radian mode, or you multiply pi on 180. So 2t plus pi on 6 equals pi plus sine the minus 1 of 3 on 5. I'm just going to put times pi on 180. And then to get t, so 2t equals pi plus sine the minus 1 of 3/5 times pi on 180 minus pi on 6. And then t will be all of that, whatever that answer is, divided by 2. And you should end up with 0.583. So it should be 0.583, which 2 decimals is 0.58 seconds.